Well, hello everyone, and I am Audrey Codner, the owner of Math by Audrey, and I want to know, can you solve this in 30 seconds? So, what I would love for you guys to do is to give this a try. If you know the answer, you can type it in, but don't hit enter until the time expires. So right now we're looking at 15 seconds. And what we're going to do is once that time expires, you can put your answers in the chat. All right? So thank you guys for coming on in. It has been a day. All right. So what do you have? We have the h of x is equal to the absolute value of x minus 7. We need to find what h of 3 is. And if you think you have an idea what the answer is, go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're not sure what the answer is, this would be the best thing that you just put a question mark. All right, so there is no judgment, there is no discuss. What I do is I come on and I show you my tutoring skills and I break down these concepts to help you not only for just algebra, but also to help you with the GED, the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, the TEAS test, the HESI test, okay, any of those versions of even SAT and ACT, but we're working on the basic, the foundation, so we can do well with the algebra portion. Alright, so I see a lot of people with the fours. I see Jen, I see a happy face, I see a sister with another mister. I see that twice. Lovely. Welcome back, lovely. I see you as well. Okay, a lot of people with the fours. Thank you so much. So now, let's take a look at it. You should see my apparatus. This is hilarious. So notice that the 3 and the x are in the same spot. So now these are called the absolute values. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to plug in that 3. So we have the absolute value of 3 minus 7. So the absolute value would look inside. So we have 3 plus a negative 7. So that gives me a negative 4. And absolute values are basically your distance away from 0. So it's always going to be positive. So your answer for this will be 4. Okay? So if I was saying that, hey, I lived here on 0 Avenue, right? I have one friend of mine that lives on 4th Street, and the other friend of mine is on negative 4th Street, which is both 4 blocks away. So although they're going in 2 different directions, they're both the same distance away from 0. That's why absolute values are always positive. All right, let's try another one. Okay, 30 seconds, tell me my answer. Okay, so if you think you have your answer, just hold until the time expires. I want to give some people a little time to just kind of get their bearings a little bit. Okay, figure out what's going on here. And then once we get into a let's take, okay, we have 5 seconds left. And then we're going to put our answers, okay, in the chat. Alright, so let's see those answers. Let's see what you got. If you know what it is, awesome. You can leave it as exponential form, or if you want to put it all the way out, you can do that as well. Okay, so I have my face, I have my blank space. I see Jaden, I see Millie. How are you? Stargirl, welcome back. Alright, Jaden, I see you. Thank you so much for clarification. Or is this a different Jaden? I think it is a different Jaden. Alright. Alright, Maddie, thank you so much for chiming in. I appreciate it. And welcome back. Okay, Cha Wen Ming. Okay, thank you so much for that. Alright, because yes, you were the first person that put it in. Alright, let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Alright, so let's take a gather with this. One thing that usually throws a lot of people off is because we have this 8 that's in the denominator and you're like, wait, there's no exponent. So here's the thing. Anytime you have just a whole number, it does have an exponent. it's assumed to be a 1. So now, if you want to, we can do this in extension form. So that means 8 to the 5th. What's happening is you're saying that, hey, we want to take this base of 8 and we're going to multiply it to itself 5 times. That's what this is translated from that. Then you have a whole number of 8 in the denominator. So then let's take a look. We can do this 8 divided by 8, which gives us 1. And then what happens is we have 4 8s left over. And how you could represent those 4 8s is 8 to the 4th power. Okay, there's 4 groups of 8s. Another way, instead of doing the extended version, is basically when they're the same bases, all we're doing is subtracting the exponents. So there's a 5 for an exponent here, that's to the 5th power, and to the 1st power is here. So that's another way of getting 8 to the 4th. Okay? So you have 2 ways. If they want the extension of it, most of the time they'll just say, okay, you got 8 to the 4th, 8 times 8 gives me 64. So we're looking at 64 times 64. So 64 times 64, we have our 16 carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 1 is 25. 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2. 6 and 6 is 36 plus 2 is 38. And then we are combining. So we have our 6, our 9, our 10 when we carry the 1, and our 4. So that's how people are also getting 4,096. All right. Okay. Hey, MJ, how are you? All right. So let's switch up. Let's see if we can get this done. Let's do a little less time this time. Let's see if we can get it done in 20 seconds. Okay, probably can do it even less, but let's see what we got. Alright, cool. Grade school math, alright. Okay, almost there. We got our 5 seconds. It seems like we're getting a lot faster, especially the people that are coming back. Good job, guys. Alright, so this is what I have. I see some 12s. I see Monica. I see Lovely. I see Maddie. I see Snoopy. How are you? Levi, how are you? Okay, I see John. Alright, Nisha Squared, I see you. Star Girl, I see you. There was a couple other people. Superstar, I see you. Hello, Lisa, how are you? Okay, Kay Denise, welcome in. Thank you so much. Alright, Lovely, I saw you now. Yes, I know, that one is right next to the Q, girl. I knew exactly what you were doing. Okay, Rich Auntie, I see you. Thank you. DieQ, I see you. Alright. So let me scroll back down. Okay, Raldo, I see you. Okay, been doing all right. We just got through a tornado. That was fun because that wind was whipping like there's no tomorrow. All right, so let's take a look. So what we're doing here is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or for all my international people, we're doing your BODMAS, all right? So, first thing, have to do what's inside the parenthesis. So that means we have our 16 minus what's inside the parenthesis. 3 minus 1 gives us 2. Not to insult you, just going through the steps. Raised to the 2nd power. Boom, that's done. Now we got our exponent. So our exponent, what are we raising to the 2nd power, is the 2. So I know it's going to be tempting to do 16 minus 2, but we need to take care of the exponent first. So we have our 16 minus our 4. Okay, so 2 squared, 2 times 2. Now 16 minus 4, that will give me my 12. Hello, London. It seems like order of operation is like a big thing, okay? It's a huge thing with people. So it's not just you. Okay? So we just have to understand that you have certain rules. It's almost like when you're putting your clothes on. Okay? You don't want to put your pants on, then put your underwear on. It's not the 90s anymore. Okay? All right. So let's take a look. Let's see if we can do another one similar to this. All right. See if we can get this one done. Okay, let's see if we can do it in 20 seconds. Alright. Okay, 3 seconds. Alright, so let's see some of these answers. Some of them were very interesting in the beginning. Now all of a sudden we're starting to get a lot of hundreds. Alright. So, we had some people. Let's go through here. Okay, J. Raphael, I see you. Okay, Love and Fresh, yes. Alright, so if we got our Di Q, I see you. Levi, I see you. Burroughs, I see you. Rom, I see you. Snoopy, I see you. Maddie, Sandwiches, I see you. Lovely. Okay, Jasper, thank you. I see you. Brian, I see you. Spicy, I see you. Okay, Machado, was that, or Daniels? Okay, I see you, Daniel, I see you. Kitty, I see you. Stargirl, I see you. Love, Fresh, there we go. Mike, alright. Then A9, I see you. I don't know what that symbol is. Say I see you. Alright, Ray, I see you. And she is me, I see you. Alright, so let's take a look. Again, PEMDAS. So we have to do what's inside the parenthesis, exponent, multiplication or division from left to right. Same with addition or subtraction. A lot of people think it's multiplication then division. No, it's multiplication or division. Whatever comes first, left to right. So inside the parenthesis, we have to do multiplication before addition. Sorry for the X, but sometimes some of the tests shows an X still for multiplication. So that means inside this parenthesis we have our 4 plus 2 times 3, which gives us 6. We're keeping the square. Now 4 plus 6, that's still inside the parenthesis, which is our 10. And our 10 squared is not going to be 20. It's not 2 times 10. This exponent is telling this base, I want you to multiply yourself 2 times. So 10 times 10, that gives me 100. Okay, all right. You see now? All right, Sandwich, there you go. Okay, yes, you're not done, NJ. I will be the first person to tell you that. Okay, yes you can. So easy, brah? Good, I'm glad it's easy for you. But here's the thing, I'm also talking to those parents and those adults that are thinking about going back to school and they haven't seen this since forever. So that's why I take my time with this. If the pace of this pace is too slow, hey, thanks for stopping in. Greatly appreciate it. I'd rather you just say, all right, this is too easy, let me move on to another thing. Because there's tons of other supporters and presenters that's out there that's breaking it down and maybe doing something at your speed. But for me, I like to take things step by step. Sometimes I over-exaggerate things because, one, I don't know what you guys know. And I want you to feel encouraged. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. But I definitely want you to understand what's going on so you can be successful. Okay? Alright? And no, it's not third grade stuff. So we don't have to insult. It's either that or I just block you, okay? My thing is, this is a safe space. There's plenty of other places you can go. Alright? So, speaking of which, let's try this one. Okay? 20 seconds. Alright? Alright. Okay, yes, please don't. Appreciate you, Jay. Okay? So this is like for algebra. Those that are going, adults that are going back to school, we're just taking things step by step. Okay. Alright. Let's see some of those answers. If you're not sure what it is, put a question mark. So that kind of tells me how much detail I need to put into this, okay? Because I really want to make sure you're getting this, okay? So I see J, I say for your eyes only. Hey, okay, Mama, thank you for your honesty. Okay, DiQ, I see you, thank you. Okay, Daniels, thank you for your honesty. J, I see you, but there's something missing, J. Okay, Lorenzo, thank you so much for your honesty. Let me come back up to the top. Johnny, you're not too far away. There's something missing. MT, you're close too. There's something missing. Okay, for your eyes only. J, something's a little missing earlier. Okay, John, because there isn't a plus sign, but we're going to see it in a moment. Okay, my mister from another sister. I see you with your 8x cubed. And then we have some other people, so let's take a look. Okay, I see that you corrected. There we go. Now, let's take a look. So Meadows, I see you. Lovely, I see you. Alright, so we're not really solving for x. What we're doing is simplifying using exponents. So right here, we have 2x's inside the parenthesis. That cube is outside the parentheses. So this is basically saying that I need to write this base out 3 times. Or we can distribute this cube to everything inside the parentheses. Now this is the part that everyone screws up once in a while. They will make the x, they'll raise that to the 3rd power, but they'll forget to do it with the 2. So everything, that means the 2 is being raised to the 3rd power, as well as that x is being raised to the 3rd power. Now, 2 to the 3rd power is not 6. They're not even the same size, so we can't multiply them. This is telling me I need to multiply that base of 2 3 times. So it's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then we can't forget about the x, all right? So x raised to the 3rd power is just x cubed. This is your answer. Okay? All right, so it's just going to be x cubed. You're going to go 10 for 10? All right, there you go. Good. Give yourselves a good goal. Not a problem. So this is the common mistake. One, a lot of people will multiply 2 times 3 to get 6. And I'm going to tell you guys, that is going to be one of the answer choices that's going to be displayed. Okay, so we definitely need to know if we can get 2 to the 3rd power and understand that it's going to give you 8. Look at your answer choices to see which one. If there's only one answer that gives you an 8, that's your answer. Click it, bubble it, move on. All right? You can't find your x. Why do you want your x, Alex? Because I sure as hell don't want mine. That's dead weight. All right. So let's go with this one. Let's translate it. Okay, I'm going to try not to get the glare. How can I translate that into an algebraic expression? Okay. College is frying you. Yeah, but see, here's the thing, Di. A lot of the concepts that you're doing right now is the elements. That's background. They just make it look so immense. If you understand your algebraic components, like basically your rules of exponents, know how to factor, know how to deal with solving equations or inequalities, and you understand your integers, that's the bulk of it. They just make it look so fancy. Okay? Unstoppable, very close, but get rid of that n equals. Then you got that. All right, Meadow, I got you. Renee, I got you. Yas, I got you. Meadows, X, I see you. White, I think we have it. Snoopy, I see you. Big Al, I see you. Brandy, I see you. Da 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 da. Is that Micah or Mika? I see you. Okay, lovely. Very close. Just have to make a little arrangement because there's no equals. Okay, art by Mimi. All right, I see you with this. All right, so let's take a look because I'm getting a lot of different things. All right, so first off, we have two things happening. We have the sum of, so that's one operation. Then we also have twice a number. That's another operation. So when they say the sum of, that means I'm adding something. And I'm adding two things. So we just need to figure out what those two things are. Well, one of them is the next line, twice a number. If I don't know what that number is, that's going to be my variable. Okay? So if I'm doing twice a number, that means I'm doing 2x. Because when you're twice, that's 2 times the fun, right? You're multiplying by 2. But they're saying the sum of twice a number, so that's the first part. But the second part is and 8. So 8 plus 8. This plus sign is not coming from the and. No. The plus sign is coming from sum of. So anytime you see sum of, that means you're adding two things. If you see product of, that means you're multiplying two things. If you're seeing difference of, that means you're subtracting two things. And what did I miss? Oh, if you see the quotient of, that means you're dividing two things. Okay? Do we understand that part now? All right, good. I'm starting to see more. I'm starting to see more. More good stuff. There we go. So now, let's elaborate on this. For those that usually come to my lives, they know. So we're going to do an extension, and I'm going to basically have 3 cards. Okay, so I got card 1, card 2, card 3. Which card do you want me to use? Pick numbers 1, 2, or 3. Okay, is the answer 12? No, because we don't have an equals. Okay, so man, everybody wants 2. Alright, let me see one more. Okay. Yep, so there's no, oh, 2's unanimous. Good job, guys. You're like, 2! 2! Alright, so what we're going to do, now we're going to translate this part. And we're going to add it to this. This is why I call it an add-on. Is at most 48. Okay? How do we translate this into an algebraic expression? Is at most 48. Okay? Hey, Danny, how are you? I gotta do your GED test for you. Nah, because you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it and you're gonna do well. Is at most 48. Okay, so I'm seeing some things. Renee, I got you. Okay, John, I got you. Okay, JB, hey JB, welcome back. Instead of an equals, there's something else that's supposed to be there, JB. Okay, Meadows, I got you. Okay, Ray, I got you. Thank you for that. Okay, Art by Mimi, close, but it's not equals. Alright, Snoopy, I see you, thank you. The one with the cat, I see you. Lovely, I see you. I know, we're trying to do the best we can because we don't know how to type it in. Totally get it. Okay, Kevin, I see you. Just gonna have to switch it around. Okay, Coffee Addict, thank you for the follow. I got you. Trust me, we're going to get you together. If anything, message me. If you're about to take the test soon and you guys need some kind of review, just message me. Tell me what you want. Okay? Robin, thank you for your honesty. All right? Not sure? I got you. All right? Is that Moza? I got you. Dream, I got you. All right. So, is at most. So, let's think about that word. So, you want to say the most, the highest that you can get. Like say that you're working a job and you say, all right, the highest that I want, which no one says, but the highest that I want to make in a week is like $2,000, which a lot of people want. All right? So will you take anything less than that? Because at most is $2,000. No one, just work with me here. So that means that I'm not going above 2,000. Anything going from 0 up to the 2,000 will make it work. So when you see at most, we're looking at less than and or equal to. Okay? So at most, it's almost like you gotta think the opposite. At most is the less than or equal to. If it said at least, that's the greater than or equal to. Okay? Hello Kitty, not a problem. And then we attach our 48. Alright, so now we have this lovely, lovely stuff. Let's solve it. What do I do first? What do I do first? Okay. Right, so you're not going above it. Yep, it's less than or equal to. Okay, minus what? Subtract what? I love this. Minus what? Subtract what? Do what? Okay, so we're going to, I see you, Big Al. We're going to subtract the 8. Okay, yes, Dream. We need to collect our like terms. So if you think of it, because I know some of you guys like to do this, some teachers say like this, inequalities equals, it's like a wall. Okay, we have the left-hand side and we have the right-hand side. So, people, if there is only one variable written out, that means that variable is going to stay right where it is. Don't touch the x. Don't touch it. Okay? You want, the whole purpose of this is to isolate that x. So that means this plus 8, we need to put it to the other side. So in order for us to move that positive 8 to the other side, you got to do the inverse. This plus sign is attached to this 8. So the inverse of plus 8 is minus 8. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So positive 8 and negative 8 will give me 0. But I don't need 0 as a placeholder because I still have the 2x to bring down. Keep our inequality sign because all we did was subtract the 8. So 48 minus 8 gives me 40. All right, good. So Ray, what are we doing? What are we doing next? What do we do next? Hey, Chunky Cakes, how are you? Yes, now we're going to divide. Good, divide. So, 2x means 2 times x. The inverse of multiplication is division. Okay, so when I say inverse, I mean opposite. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 will give me 1x. And 1x and x means the same thing. So you don't have to have 1x and then divide both sides by 1. You're wasting time. Okay, 1x and x, same thing. 40 divided by 2, that gives me 20. But here's the difference between inequalities and equations. Am I going to change the direction of my sign? Okay. Okay, you're so welcome. Okay, I got a no, I got a yes, I got to flip it, I got a no, I got a no. Okay, I got a no. D, I see you with the no. Daniels, I see you with the no. Because you're not dividing by a negative. Thank you, my cross. Okay, so right here, when we were dividing by a positive 2. Okay, since that was a positive 2, we do not change the direction of the sign. It only changes when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Not because it gives you a negative result, but because you're dividing by a negative number. Alright, so this is the answer for this one, but let me do a little side thing. Let me slide. So if I had, let's say, 2x, let's say for some instance we have less than or equal to negative 20. Okay, we're not looking at this. Actually, let me cover it up. Alright, so this is a different problem. So if we got something like this, and we divide by 2. Alright, everything looks pretty kosher. 2 divided by 2, that gives me my x. Negative 20 divided by 2, that gives me a negative 10. Do I flip the inequality sign, put it in the chat. Okay, do I flip the inequality sign? Do it in the chat. Okay, so I got some no's, I got some no's, I got some no's, I got some no's, I got a yes, I got a hell no. Alright, we got some no's, we got some no's, we got a yes, we got no's, we got some no's with a little hesitation. That's alright. Alright, so I got a couple of yeses, got some no's. Here we go. This is the reason why I do this. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make for inequalities. I divided by a positive number. Yes, I got a result that was negative, but that's not what changes things. What changes things is usually this line right here. So if you notice you're dividing both sides by a positive, that inequality sign does not change. Okay? If you were dividing by a -2, yes, that's going to flip. So like if I have -3, let me change pens here. If I said -3x is less than or equal to -9, right? Divide both sides by -3. So -3 divided by -3 would cancel out to give me my x. -9 divided by -3, that gives me a +3. Remember, when you have the same signs when you're multiplying or dividing, your answer is always going to be positive. But then, looky here, we were dividing by a -3. So that's when you change the direction of the sign. Okay, that's when we flip it. Do you see the difference? Okay, do you see the difference? Now it would flip. There you go, Star Girl. There you go. Thank you, Big Al. Alright, does it make sense? Oh yeah? Okay, good. Well, thank you, Under the Influence. Okay, not a problem. User 51, yes. JB, I got you. Makes more sense, yes. Alright? So, it all depends sometimes on this final line. Okay? Sometimes you might be multiplying or dividing a number early, but it's always good to know that. Because this might be, this and maybe a couple other problems may be the reason why you haven't hit your GED yet. Just by that small little tweak, now you can go into it a little more confident than you were before. Okay? So this is just, so I'm going over a lot of concepts. Oh, people that are taking the GED, that's a 3-point question. Just want to put that out there. 3-point question. Hi. Okay? Alright. So this is basically stuff for adults. I'm also a math tutor, so I tutor 7th grades up to adults. And what I do is I break down a lot of concepts that you will see in the GED, the ASVAT, the Accuplacer, the TEAS test, the HESI test, in order for you to be successful. So, now I want us to graph this. Okay? Oh, you had your final today. Okay. A whole slew of stuff. I have a whole mixture. Okay, so if you guys need individual stuff, like I can only do so much because I give myself like a good hour, okay, when I come here. So a lot of my recordings are on my YT channel, which I'll show you towards the end. But I want to start. Where do you start? And this is the part that gets everybody. When they see, hey, they want you to graph this, then you start freaking out. Because you're like, okay, there's a fraction, 1. Your blood pressure just went up because you saw a fraction. 2, some of us don't even know where to start. But some of us do. So yes, this is your y equals mx plus b. Your m is your slope. Your b, and its signage, that's your y-intercept. That's where it crosses on the y-axis. Y goes up and down. This will tell you where you're going to start. So for this equation, y equals 3/5 x minus 1, you're going to start, your first point is going to be at -1. Here I am at 0. Here's -1 on the y-axis. So now, this is your point where you're going to start. So it's almost like your slope is a form of directions. So if you think about it, like this is your house, and someone gave you directions to go to the house that has the best party, right? So you have 3/5, and you want your m, aka your slope, to be 3/5. And the reason why, because slope is rise over run. Okay? When you rise, you're either going to go up or down. If it's positive, you're going to go up. If it's negative, you're going to go down. And for your run, you're either going left or right. If it's negative, you're going left. If it's positive, you're going right. Okay? All right? If I were you, I would take a screenshot of that. Okay? So now, looking at my slope is 3/5. So that means from my starting point, which is here at -1, I'm going, let me see if I can make this a little clearer. All kinds of crazy. Okay? I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. Notice how I count. I don't say, okay, I'm right here, that's 1, and this is 2, and that's 3. No, 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 no. Full step. 1, 2, 3. And then, since it's a +5, I'm going to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to put my point. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you graph a line. You just need 2 things. Yep, and you draw the line to connect them. Okay. Oh, thank you, Honesty. Appreciate that. The only thing you understand about math. All right. So, where do you start? If it's in this slope-intercept form, even if it wasn't exact. Here we go. Devil's advocate. Ready? So we have y equals -1 plus 3/5 x. What happens if they present it like that? Well, your starting point is always going to be the number that's not adjacent to the x. That's still going to be my -1. Okay? And that's your starting point on the y-axis. Okay. Oh, definitely will this help for Avid. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay? So there may be times they might have it set up like this, or they might have some times to switch it up and set it like this. But where you start is always going to be the number that doesn't have an x next to it. And then you're using your slope for direction. Your rise over your run, and then plot your point. Yep, that's all it is. But see, here's the thing, Ray. Sometimes the test may show it one way, or they may show it the other way. And I know when people learn it one way, and then all of a sudden they see it this way, they freak out. You don't need to freak out anymore, right? Sneaky. All right, so let's take a look. Let's get with another problem. I think we can handle this. I know we can handle this. All right. Go ahead and simplify that. And then we're going to up our game just a tad. Okay. Let's see what we get to simplify that. Okay. Make sure you have all of your exponents. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to push the thing. Sorry. I was like, there's some reason why I'm like hype up. Okay. Alright. Thank you for your honesty, Di. Thank you for your honesty, user 51. Alright. Almost there. Go ahead. Show me your answers. What do we got? Okay, Daniels, thank you for your honesty. Big Al, I see you. Under the influence. We could do PEMDAS, but there's nothing inside the parenthesis for us to combine. But I can see where you're coming from. Okay. Is it Hamid? Okay, JB, I see you. Star Girl, I see you. Under the influence, I see you. I know, it's okay. Don't be sad. Alright, there was a couple other people before. Very bad. Thank God I barely passed my exam. Hey, Ellis, you do what you gotta do, okay? You do what you gotta do. Are you from Iceland? I used to live in Iceland. I was in Serkroka. Used to play basketball there. Try to get you. Yep. Oh, that was from earlier. Okay. Alright. So, let's break this down. So, like I said, this is not going to be so much PEMDAS, right? So, we are going to, inside this parenthesis, everything is going to be raised to the 4th power. Are you? That's crazy. Yep, I used to play basketball there. Yep, for Tintelstock. Alright, so everything is being raised to the 4th power. So the 2 is being raised to the 4th power. The x is being raised to the 4th power, as well as the y cubed is being raised to the 4th power. Okay. What year did I play? Coach of Manstein. Oh God, what year was that? It was 2000. God, so many years ago. I want to say 2004, 2005. Who was my coach? Axel was my coach. Christine, who's still there, she was one of my teammates. Because I don't think she will ever leave Tintelstock. And Runa, and who else is still there? See on Facebook. But let me get back to this. So if anything, we'll chat later. Just come inbound. So 2 to the 4th power. So that means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4, right? We got 2 sets of those. So 4 times 4 will give us 16. This came from the 2 to the 4th power. Okay. Bognar. Oh, yes. I remember him. I don't think you remember me, but, you know, there's not too many African American women that went through Iceland. So, oh, if anything, just tell them about the one that used to sing Tina Turner. Just ask them that and they'll know. Everyone will know. X to the 4th power. And then when we're doing the y to the 3rd power, when you have an exponent being raised to an exponent, you multiply the exponents. Anytime you see an exponent, a parenthesis, and an exponent, you multiply them. So that will give us y to the 12th. Okay? Yes. So this would be your answer. Okay? Yep. Alright, so you're not adding these exponents. When you see a power to a power, or exponent to an exponent being separated by a parenthesis, you multiply them. Okay? And then this x had a 1 for an exponent. Okay? Yeah, so that I feel is so much easier by you're raising everything. Give each element their own, well, I shouldn't say element. I can't really say terms, but give each element their own raised to the 4th power and then break it down. So once you do the 2 to the 4th power and you get 16, then take a look at your answer choices. You can do what's called POE, process of elimination. So then you're all right. How many 16's answers are there? Oh, there's 2. Okay. So now let me take a look at, I know the difference is going to be y to the 7th or y to the 12th. And we know that we multiply, so it'll be our answer with y to the 12th. Okay? All right? See? I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel confident. All right? Yes, I can go and do derivatives. Everyone always asks me to do that. Okay, can you do derivatives? Can you do this? Can you do that? Yes, I can do all of that. But instead of showing you tricks, I like to actually show you what is actually happening. Okay? What's happening so you can understand the trick. Now, I know you're seeing this and you're like, factor. But there's a number in front of the x squared. Yikes. But it's okay. Don't run away. It's going to be all right? So I got this one and 2 more, and then we are done for today. So now, we have, what we're going to do is called AC method. I'm going to walk you through this one. Some of you guys might get this because you totally understand it, which is awesome. Okay? Some of you guys, you might need a little hand holding, which is fine. So the way that we do, we're going to use what's called the AC method. And it's not just because it's part of my initials, because right now this expression is in standard form. So you have your a x squared plus bx plus c. All we need to know is what is our a, what is our b, and what is our c, just to get that listed. The a, as you notice, it's the coefficient in front of the x squared. So my a is going to be 5. Yes. My b is the coefficient with its signage in front of the x, which is a negative 13. And my c is going to be the constant with the signage. So this is no longer a minus 6, that's a negative 6. Just like this was not a negative 13, a minus 13, it's a negative 13. So this is what we're going to do. I like to use the cross, some people like to use the table. So what we're going to do is we need to figure out what the factors are. So factoring is basically doing distributive property in reverse. Okay, no audio. Can you guys hear me now? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Or thumbs down. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, there is audio. Okay, loud and clear. All right. So, we're multiplying. I love to sit in here and chit-chat to myself all day, but you know, we got stuff to do. So we have 5 times negative 6. So 5 times negative 6, because that's our AC. We're multiplying the A and the C. So that gives us negative 30. All right. Okay. So our B, we're just going to rewrite, which is negative 13. Okay. So now this is the hardest part, especially if multiplication table is a little bit of a struggle for you. We need to figure out what 2 numbers multiply will give me negative 30 and add to give me a negative 13. So what 2 numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 30 and add together to give me a negative 13. Okay, so that's when it gets a little hairy, scary. So some people are telling me 3 and 10. Some people are telling me 15 and 2. Okay. So this is when the negatives are going to kick in. So if I said 3 and 10 does give me 30, but I need a negative 30. So if I made the 3 negative and the 10 positive and I tried to add them together, that's going to give me a 7. So that's not going to work. But even if I switched it around, made the 3 positive and the 10 negative, that's just going to give me a negative 7. I'm looking for a negative 13. So the 3 and 10 is not going to work for us. But let's say 15 and 2. So if I do 15 and negative 2, multiplied will give me my negative 30. But if I add those two together, that will give me a positive 13. But I need a negative 13. There we go. Nice, Lenore. I see you. Okay, user 10, I see you. Okay. So that means we're going to be using a negative 15 and a positive 2. This is the hardest part about factoring, the multiplication. Each and every time. Alright? So, this is when I do an extension. So, I can put into my 2 parentheses, because remember, we're doing distributive, we're trying to find our factors. The reason why we're doing 2 parentheses is because look at my highest exponent. My highest exponent was a 2. So that means I'm going to have 2 solutions or 2 factors. So split my variable up. So there's an x here, there's an x there, and the 2 factors that we just found, we're going to put into each of the parentheses. So this could be our negative 15, this can be our positive 2. Okay, there's one more important step. If you put the plus 2 here and the negative 15 there, that's perfectly fine. But now we're going to do what's called divide or slide. And you're like, what? What's that? So we're taking our leading coefficient, which is a 5, and we're going to put it underneath the 2 factors that we found. So there's a 5 here, and there's a 5 here. If I can divide it, go ahead and do so. So, negative 15 divided by 5, that gives me a negative 3. So I bring down my parentheses and my x. But when I look at 2/5, if I divide that, that's going to give me a decimal. And we don't want any decimals. So since we can't divide, we're going to take our 5 and slide. So that means we have 5x plus 2. Alright? And these are your factors. Okay? X minus 3 and 5x plus 2, or vice versa. Okay, do I tutor? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Go ahead and message me. Tell me what test you're taking, when you're planning on taking it, and then we'll have a chit chat. Okay? Where did the 5 come from? Good question. It came from your A, your leading coefficient. So once you find your factors, you put it inside your parentheses. But what is different from most times is because that 5 is there. So we're going to use this 5 to do our divide. Oops, our divide. And if they divide, perfect. Boom, get our answer. But if it doesn't divide nice and even, just like how the 15 and 5 did, then we're going to take that 5 and slide. Okay. All right, are we okay? Can I do checking, please? Sure. So how do we check it? We do the distributive property. Okay? A lot of you guys will say FOIL. I don't like to say FOIL because when I was younger, I don't know what was the problem with me saying the word circle and spelling FOIL. I always get things mixed up. So then I feel like I get lost in the sauce. So if I wanted to check this, I can do one of two things. Actually, I'm just going to rewrite. because you're going to need to know how to divide two binomials. Okay, remove that. So, all you're doing is taking the first term, which is my x, and you're multiplying it to everything in the second parenthesis. That's the first step. So x times 5x gives us 5x squared. X times positive 2 gives me a positive 2x. So now, this is the other part that screws a lot of people up. This time you're going to distribute not just the 3, but the negative 3. Okay? So, when we multiply negative 3 to everything inside that parenthesis. So negative 3 times 5, that gives me negative 15x. And negative 3 times 2 gives me negative 6. And right smack here in the middle, those are my like terms. Reason why they're like terms is because they both have a variable of x at the same degree. This x squared is not a like terms with these guys. Don't mix them up. Okay? They can sit next to each other. Maybe they can hold hands, but there's no kissing. Okay? Only these guys are hooking up. So we have our negative 13x. We bring down the minus 6, and we bring down the 5x squared. Okay, all my GED peeps, that is a 3-point question. Okay, that's a 3-point question. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so one more question, and I think I'm going to stick with going back to slope. All right, can you take a picture? Oh, the first one? Yep, the factoring? Sure you can. Wait, hold on. My apparatus is all kinds of cray-cray today. Because now I'm basically sitting in the dark, but the storm kind of surpassed, so I have a little bit of natural light left. Alright, so you got that? Okay, gotta love the AC method. I know, right? Alright. And then this was the multiplying. Alright, awesome, perfect. Okay, so let's take a look. Find my rate of change. Zoom in on that bad boy. Let's find the rate of change. Let's go. Okay, finding the rate of change. I can't really see it, so I'm just gonna feel like it's a creeper. Okay, 8 seconds. Okay. Oh, just by 3 points? Ooh. It's probably something with slope, equation, line that you probably skipped, or factoring. Usually it's something about that. Anytime you fail like a standardized test, it's always either dealing with graphs, slope, or factoring. I don't know why, it just always seems to be that way. Okay, so you gotta do the GED math again. Alright, gotcha. Okay, got plenty of stuff that I can offer. Also got my services as well as resources. Alright. Now, rate of change. That's AKA slope. Okay, so that's your rise over your run. So, we have 2 points here. Reading from left to right, anytime you see a point, you have your x value, then your y value. Since this is the first point, this is going to be my x sub 1 and my y sub 1. Similar is happening here for the x and y. But this is going to be my x sub 2 and my y sub 2. The 2 is representing, this is the second point. The 1s are representing, this is the first point. So you probably have heard of the lovely formula with the change of y's over the change of x's. Your y's are always in the numerator. Okay? So that means a lot of people know it as y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now that people see this formula, oh, I remember how to do this. Okay? There you go, Dio. There you go. SB, I see you. Thank you. All right. So now let's take a look. And just by looking at some of the answers you guys are giving me, I can tell right away there is a problem with integers. Okay? So let's take a look. y2, what goes in? We have our negative 7. Because now we're just substituting. Minus my y1, which is 1. Okay? Over my x sub 2, which is 2. Minus my x in the first point, which is also a 2. Okay? So now, for the numerator, because I'm running out of room, I'm going to put it down here. We're a little too big. Negative 7 minus 1. Let me say it properly. Negative 7 plus negative 1. So we are combining these two. So this minus sign is now acting as a negative for the 1. So that gives us a negative 8. Okay? Careful. So now my denominator, we have 2 minus 2, which gives me 0. So I was seeing a lot of negative 6s, a couple negative 8s, a couple of 8s, a couple of 0s. We have to be careful. The 0 is placed in the denominator. You cannot take a number and divide by 0 in order to get some kind of solution. Okay? This is a no solution. Or it's a null set. The best way that I help myself to remember is the phrase no O below. Okay? You cannot, that will not give you a 0. If it was 0 over negative 8, that gives you a 0. Okay? If the 0's in the numerator, that will give you a 0. Okay? If the 0 is in the denominator, that's a no solution. Okay? If the 0 is in the numerator, 0 divided by that negative 8, that will give you 0. Okay? Alright? Okay, you're so welcome, GH. No problem. Alright? So that's the key part, knowing how we're doing the division, especially with rules of 0. Okay, so if the 0 is in the numerator, boom, 0. If it's in the denominator, no solution. Can't do anything. Alright? Okay? So, another thing, if I may, same numbers, same problems. Another error that a lot of people make is they do the negative 7 minus the 1 perfectly fine. But here's another thing. Both of our x's were the same. When both of our x's are exactly the same, that's always going to give you undefined. In order for it to be a function, your x's cannot repeat. Okay? Your x values cannot repeat. Someone said that earlier. Let me give them that props. One moment, please. A couple people did. SB. I think that's what it was. Yep, so SB. Thank y'all. Alright. So since I'm from a country where we read from left to right, okay, You can also do your y1 minus your y2 over your x1 minus your x2. Okay, you can do that as well. So because we're so used to going from left to right, then you go left to right. You keep the same rhythm. Left, right, right? When you do it the opposite way, especially here in the States, this is what your brain does. I don't know why it does it, but this is what happens. You're like focused on the first part. You focus on the right to the left. But then all of a sudden, it's just a quick little twitch that would like makes you hesitate, and then you're subtracting this way. Of course, this is not going to hurt us because the x values are both the same, but you can also do it this way. You can have your 1 minus your negative 7 over your 2 minus 2. Okay? So when you minus a negative, that turns positive. But then you still have your 0, and it's still no solution because no O below. Who invented math problems? Somebody that was bored. I don't know. Now, some of this math, they can go back to the depths of hell, which it came. But this one we kind of hold on to. All right? Okay. All right, my babies, my loves, my everyones. Okay, so if anything, if you want, I want to see if this will still stick. If you go here, if you need the replays, you can go there. Okay? There is a link in my bio. I'm using my phone for light, so that's why I'm not showing like I normally would. If you go to my bio, the first link, it will show a math check. So if you want me, I just did a couple math problems just for you to get associated with. Alright, so this is the link. And if you want to do the free math link, I finally got one person that said, hey, I did it and I got this as a score. And I was like, perfect. Do you need any assistance? He's like, no, but I think I got it. Awesome. But everyone else, if you want to do that math check, do it to the best of your ability. And even if you say, hey, Audrey, I just didn't understand number 2, is there any way that you can walk me through it? I will walk you through it because that's who I am. All right. So if you need any assistance, yes, there's so many rules. There's definitely so many formulas. My goodness. Not even talking geometry. Like, that's insane. To be exact. Okay. So if you need any assistance, if you're looking for practice problems, I have practice books that I created. If you're looking for like more guidance and you're like, I want to get a tutor, but my time and my schedule is all over the place. 1 minute I'm free in the mornings, the next day or later on I'm not free, I got to cover someone's class. Well, I have what's called Algebra at Your Pace, and it basically breaks down all these algebraic concepts that you're going to see in the GED and the ASVAT exam. So that will walk you through. It's a video that's attached to the workbook. Let me show you one of them. So let me raise this up a lot. Alright, so we have the Algebra at Your Pace. This one is dealing with linear equations. So there's a QR code that you can scan. Okay, when you did the QR code, you're going to get a playlist of all the videos for this particular book. So I'll walk you through graphing linear equations, and I give you extra practice problems as well as extra practice problems in the videos. So you have all of these things. Then we also give you some extra practice problems looking with slope. So if that was problematic, you can go to there. parallel and perpendicular lines, they love using 1 or 2 questions like this. Hi guys, 4-point question for my GED or high school equivalent. Just throwing that out there. I used to teach the course, that's why I know. Anything dealing with linear equations is a 4-point question. So let me give you the rundown. Ready? Anything dealing with slope, equation of a line, graphing equation of a line, systems of equations, systems of inequalities, volume, factoring, surface area. I think that is it. They're all 4-point questions. Oh, no. Yeah, I said factoring. Okay. And factoring, they're all 4-point questions. If you can get a good handle on the basic arithmetic and you can get just three of these problems correct, you will pass the GED. That's all you need. So you're thinking, I got to get 100. You don't need to get 100. You just want to pass this test in order for you to go and do your greatness, because the world is waiting for you. We're pretty screwed up here, people. We need you. So I need for you to pass this test so you can do whatever your lovely self can do. All right? And in the very back, I always give a quiz, but then also I give you, just in case you can't remember most of your rules, I give you those rules of integers, okay? I also give you the order of operations, also the properties of exponents, as well as everything dealing linear, because that's what's happening within this book. Okay? All right? So all of my books, all of my resources, even the codes. What about the aptitude test? Yeah. Everything that has algebra in it, yes. Because if we need to get our foundation, now you're making me whip out the learning tree. Ready? All right. So, welcome to Math by Audrey's Learning Tree. This is what's happening. We need to build up our roots. Okay, we need to build up our roots. And our roots deals with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. If we can't, especially this part right here, the multiplication, if we don't understand our multiplication, it's tough for us to do fractions, especially what to reduce by. It's tough to do decimals. Thank you so much. It's tough to do percentage. And multiplication is nothing but fast addition. So if we can build up those foundations, build up those roots, then we can handle algebra. And once we get the algebraic components, just like that one person earlier said earlier, there we go, and they're trying to do college math, look what's happening. Trigonometry, algebra, geometry, pre-calculus, calculus, statistics, even college math. If we don't have a strong foundation with algebra, it's hard for you to do all those other things. And you always see at least a sample of these and these 5 out of the 7 in your GED, your ASVAT, your Accuplacer, your TEAS test, your HESI test. So in order for you to get this algebra, we need to get these foundations. And if I can take it a step further, obviously we had to plant that tree somewhere. You didn't get to pick what schools you went. You didn't get to pick your teachers. You didn't get to pick the environment that you were trying to learn from. Maybe it was all kinds of crazy. Maybe the teacher didn't have any self-control or didn't know how to control the classroom and how to break down and to teach. But that means your trunk is a little weak. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You did learn some things, but it's not that strong. But guess what? You don't have to be stuck here. We can uproot a tree. If it's not that strong, we can uproot it and replant it in another place where you're getting your nutrients, where you're getting the assistance, where you're getting the support. And then we can build you up so you can feel strong with this. For me personally, I don't want to just teach you the tricks, because if you don't understand where the trick is coming from, it's pointless. I'm sorry, it's pointless, okay? So not just sitting around watching the videos. Now that you learned all these different things, what are you going to do with this information? Because as soon as you get out for this live and you go see a cat video or someone get kicked in the nuts, I don't know what you guys watch nowadays, all of a sudden all that information just goes away. So we gotta have currency exchange. There we go. So we gotta figure out what you're gonna do with this information. We gotta practice it while it's still in your brain. That's why I did the books the way that I did. So if you're interested, again, you can go to the link. Whoa, that's bright. You can go to the link in my bio. So sorry. But then give me some time to break down this video, because this is where I'm going to have all of my videos. All of my TikTok videos, the replays are stored here, okay, on my Y team. Okay, you have one class left to get your associates, and it's algebra. You can't pass it. Arlene, call me. I'm sorry, message me. You don't have my number. Yep, message me. So if you are, and if you like, look, I would love to get tutoring from you, but Audrey, there's only so much money I have. Let's talk it. Let's figure something out. If it's not me, let's get it from somebody, because you need to pass this test. Okay, stop screwing around. Stop saying, oh, I can't, oh, I'm overwhelmed. You know, I got to do with the kids. The kids, you put them in front of a TV set, they're fine. Okay, throw some food at them once in a while. You know, school's about to start, so your refrigerator is going to actually look full once in a while. Okay? You know how teens are. Just inhale everything. I'm like, damn, you in the kitchen again? I love you, but damn. Okay? So, message me. Okay? Definitely message me. Don't just say hi. Tell me what test you're taking, roughly when you're going to take it. Okay, give me that little information, at least I can go through. Because if you just say hi, I'm going to delete it, because that's how most of my scammers or sugar daddies want to, like, you know, claim me. It's hilarious. 53 years old trying to be a sugar baby. Seriously, people? Weird. Okay. Alright. Algebra 1 for us now. Okay. Please, reach out. Message me. I can't make you message me. You're not going to be judged. Okay? There's only one judge. And it's sure as heck not me. Okay? It's Most High. I can't even touch that. I can't even put a thought to even trying to touch that. Okay? So I'm here to help. That's all I want to do, is just help and support you. Okay? Remember, no O below. Amen. Let's go. Alright, everyone. So, go ahead and message me. I will see you guys. I'm usually here in the mornings, because this is very interesting. I feel like I should have a candlelight next to my thing. But I will try, because I know once my kids come back, a lot of my students, when they start school, because some of them have already started, that my afternoons and evenings, I will not be able to do this. So most of the time, I'm usually here at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you go here, you can at least get the replay. And if you need me, you're like, Audrey, I like your replay, I like how you teach, but I need help with this. Message me. Okay? Alright. Alright, go with the quadratic chapters. Okay. Alright, Dee. Alright, everyone. Have an amazing night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.